For YouTube starting now.
Hello, YouTube.
Good afternoon, YouTube. And we are about to start the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
Yes, it is a beautiful. I can't even say
man.
like the day anymore because the day it actually posts is different from
Fact.
the day that we record. So I'm not gonna say anymore. It's just a beautiful day in San Diego.
Another one.
Another
as
beautiful
always.
day.
I mean, what more do you expect? We pay for this.
Yeah, it's the city tax. So welcome to SD. And if you haven't come to San Diego, please come check us out. Shoot me a holler. Would love to sit down and talk to you, see you, and say hi to some people because it's just some of the things we like to do, right?
Heck yeah. All right, before we jump into introducing our guest, let's not forget our everyday promos. As you can see right back here behind me, we have some shoes. We are still collecting our shoes. 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year is our small goal just for the homeless in San Diego. Remember, this charity is for homeless. We want to see some closed-toed tennis shoes, walking shoes, walking whatever, something comfortable. Remember that this is going to be for homeless people in all types of weather. So if you have some shoes that you can donate, please give me a call. Area code 619-884-0045. James at csfirst.com is my email address. I will ride out and pick up those shoes.
Hop in the Harley. It's loud. You'll know he's there. Pick up the shoes. We'll thank you for it very much. And if you happen to get those shoe donations in before, I want to say Friday. If you can do it before Friday, we'll give. I have a one.
Is this going to air before Friday?
It might not, but if you're on Facebook Live, you're listening.
If
so
if
you want to go to the Mission Valley Beer Fest with me, make your donation, shoot James an email, hit us up via text, phone call, whatever it is, get your donation in, because I'd love to hang out with you at the Beer Fest in Mission Valley. Let me know. All right. Whoop, whoop. We ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock it and roll it.
Today's guest
is the incomparable. I like that word.
Incomparable?
I stole it from the Insurance Guys podcast. Incomparable. Mr. Mark Gillette with Pacific Bank Card LLC. Welcome to the show, Mark. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You ready to spew some knowledge to these people?
Sure, whatever knowledge I have left.
Whatever knowledge I have left. Oops, I just kicked myself.
I
knew I was going to do it. I'm sorry.
I done told you.
All right. So, breathe. All right. So, Mark, tell me a little bit about your background. What prompted you? Because I think that every entrepreneur is a little bit crazy to go out and do something on their own. So what prompted you to jump to the dark side, go into being an entrepreneur, working on independently on your own at business in general?
Business in general, that's a great question. I used to have a business partner, and we would always discuss other people's businesses. And finally, I said, you know what? We need to put our money and our time where our mouths are.
That's
everybody's a great entrepreneur until it's time to be an entrepreneur, right?
No, I love that. I use the same type of analogy when people talk about playing poker, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's like, oh, I play poker, I'm good, whatever. Yeah, that's because you play online for free, right? Or at home for free. As soon as you put some skin in the game, I tell them, like, if you really want to learn to play poker, put like $5 in an online portal and play for pennies. I guarantee you, even though they're pennies, you play completely different because you have some skin in the game, right?
Yep.
So as soon as you can talk about people's businesses, you can talk about what they shoulda, coulda, woulda done, but as soon as you are actually doing it yourself, as soon as there's some sort of skin in the game for you, where you have a vested interest in the success or the failure of the business, things change.
It changes big time.
So what brought you to this particular industry?
Well, I like people. I like the business model and the freedom that it allowed. And if you like people, sales is a great place to be. And just being out in the field, and I don't want to be behind a desk. That's not my thing. Even though we got to do some paperwork from time to time, and that's okay. I like being, face to face with folks. So.
Oh, 100%. So, I don't think I actually said it. What type of business are you in?
We're in merchant processing.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, we facilitate transactions. So any business that takes credit card in their place of business, whether they want to take credit card or they would like to have a better option for their credit card processing, that's what I come in and facilitate.
All right, because it makes a huge difference. I mean, there are a lot of platforms out there that already exist. I don't know, Squares or the QuickBooks or the whatever, those types of things that are already out there. They're easy, they're accessible, but they're expensive.
Yeah,
right. Especially if you start dealing in volume, right? Volume is one of those things where you're processing a lot of transactions on a regular basis. And so when you get to that level, when you're actually in business, if you're just taking a couple transactions here and there, even like a Venmo will work. But when you're in business and maybe you're selling windows, for example, and you're processing, $10,000 payments at a time, or you're a contractor and you're processing payments for your clients, all of a sudden that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% that you're being charged on each single credit transaction starts eating into your bottom line.
It does. And that's just, you said it, the bottom line. I deal with people all the time and I say, this is what your bottom line is. Oh, well, I don't want to hear about this and that. What could you do with this amount of money? And that's a game changer for people, and that makes you stop and take a look. And, there's 1,000 people that do what I do, but nobody does it like I do it. And, for people out there, they want to find somebody that, that they can relate to. They can relate to their business and help their business, using your bank is fine. Using Square is fine. Until it's midnight and you're trying to process a transaction and you need help. And then you wish you had somebody like me in your corner to be able to help you along with that process.
Dude, 100%. So I'll give you an example in insurance, right? Mm-hmm. We take client payments all the time, right? And it goes into a trust account. So for those of you who don't understand how the insurance process works, if you go into your State Farm office, you go into an insurance office and you make a payment, right? The payment doesn't go to that insurance broker. It goes into what we call a trust account. The money goes into that account, and then the insurance company, whoever you're insured with, Mercury, Progressive, whatever, they go ahead and take the money out, or you can pay the carrier direct. If you're processing a payment in-house, maybe you're taking a credit card payment, you're eating the cost of making that transaction. Mm-hmm. Right. And so again, when we're talking about volume, it makes a big difference when you're having multiple transactions come in. And so I know that we've looked at a number of different types of processing, and we run into some situations sometimes where maybe a client premium that we have to take a payment is like $15,000 on a workers' comp policy, right? Something like that. And we go and swipe the card and it says, you've achieved your max processing for the day. Yeah. That could be a heartbreaking stopping moment in a business. Now you have a client in front of you. You can't process the payment. They know they have the funds available. And What do you do? Who do you call? What are you supposed to do? So, that's, having that relationship with somebody to help you process these types of situations, to get through these types of difficult points in business is one of the reasons why we have someone like you on the team.
Yeah. And, I've owned other businesses, so I can usually come in and look at your P&Ls. I can look at your merchant statements, and I can give you a comprehensive game plan for your business and what it means to your bottom line. And what we're doing now in the bank card industry, I'm saving people between 40 and 90% on their fees. So we're not just talking about, hey, I'm going to come in here and save you $50 or $100, and we're talking about your entire processing fees, or in business to business, 40%. By not even changing anything, just changing the platform on which you're doing it to how the transactions qualify. So different processors. And so what I do at Pacific Bank Card is we're like a brokerage. So I had a vision of being able to use different bank card processors that I use, like Merchants Bank Card, NextGen, just to name a couple of them, and Paylo. They all offer great products, but it may not necessarily fit a particular merchant. So when a merchant's always like, my favorite question is, what's your rate? What do you want it to be? That's my question. What do you want the rate to be? I mean, I can make it whatever you want, but let's sit down and have a conversation about your business. And then it always leads into bigger business issues that I think merchants end up having that they don't ever address.
Right. Well, it's one of those things where education is vital, right? People who get into business think it's something as easy as exchanging money, and it's not as transactional as just exchanging cash. When you swipe a credit card, a lot goes into it. Some of it is the processor, some of it is the gateway, some of it is the merchant services. Like, can you kind of walk through how that works, so people are aware that it's not just one quick swipe. There's security features embedded. There's third-party features embedded, so that we're trying to keep things as secure as possible when using plastic.
Yeah, well, the banks actually control everything. They control the credit cards, and they are the acquiring bank. So everybody's always like, "Oh, I use my bank." Well, yeah, you do and you don't. They're still using a processor like us. So the way that transaction works, when a card is swiped and it goes through a credit card machine or POS system, that card gets validated in what's almost a real-time transaction. When you think about how fast that is, the reason there's merchant fees is because everything in our business is revolved around risk. And the higher risk that the card is, the higher percentage that the merchant pays on that card.
So a risk, meaning like if I go online and I key in my credit card, that's much riskier transaction for the merchant than if I have a card present, if I stick a chip into the machine.
Yeah, and then you have airline miles, you have hotels and stuff like that. You have corporate cards with a lot of benefits to them. The merchant pays a higher fee for those cards. So what we're able to do now, if merchants are interested, is just eliminate that altogether. And you're able to do that in a number of different ways. But when we do that, merchants save almost all their processing fees.
Let's simplify this a little bit, just because not everybody speaks credit card processing.
Sure.
Who's the merchant?
The merchant is the person that has the business owner.
Okay, so the business owner,
the person taking money and wants to put it in their bank account.
Okay, that's the merchant, right?
Yep.
Now, I've had a number of different situations, and if you're in business, you probably had some of the similar ones. What happens if I swipe a card, right, and the client says, that wasn't me who swiped the card, or that wasn't me who processed that transaction, I need a refund? Who's ultimately responsible?
That would be a case-by-case basis, but the merchant should be responsible. It just depends. Usually it's a lower transaction, so the credit card company is usually not going to hold that person accountable, because the merchant should be doing things like keeping the receipt with the signature on it. They should be keeping that for 90 days. Those type of little things. I know merchants that keep those things for a year.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, right? Because I've had that happen before. Prior to, I'm telling you, serial entrepreneur over here.
Right.
So we've had a computer company where we process credit cards, and that was funny, dude. Do you remember processing credit cards with the computer company? That credit card terminal machine, because it was wireless, we went house to house.
One of those giant big ones.
I mean, we're talking like early 2000s, and it was huge, right? It was like, massive.
Well, and because of the technology at the time, we weren't even actually processing those transactions live at that time.
No,
we were just storing them, and then we would batch them when we got back to the office.
Yeah. That's the thing, yeah. I'm sure you had a few of them.
I'm telling him like he doesn't know what.
But you know what's funny? A lot of people don't know that. They just think that the card swiped and, they've got my money. Well, that might not be true. And, the merchant's still liable to maybe not being paid on their services,
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were still using carbon copy receipts, and when we would process a credit card, right? When we would process a credit card, we would run it through the machine, but just in case, we got the whole crayon effect where you scrape the credit card onto the carbon copy. So we had that information and had the customer sign, because you never know what was going to happen. You never knew if that was actually going to go through, and we just left the customer with $1,000, $2,000 worth of merchandise. And we've got to make sure that we collect on whatever it was. I mean, those were old school ways. You're talking about, real time transactions today. I mean, if I swipe a credit card today, I know that it approved, A, right? Yep. I know that B, I'm going to see the money in my account. If not the next day, the same day, right? And everything is just fluid, quick, simple.
Yeah. And it's technology's, we're still behind. We're still behind. What's coming is there's cool stuff coming.
All right, tell me a little bit about the stuff.
The stuff that's coming is like contactless. Everything's going to be in your merchant wallet. So what I mean by that is that if you've ever gotten your new phones and the first thing it doesn't ask you in the setup is, can you put your credit cards in here into a merchant wallet, so you can actually have your phone and just literally put it next to the machine and pick what credit card you want to use, and that transaction will happen in real time.
See, that's
coming. So it exists in other parts of the world.
You got some Apple Pay, you got some stuff like that, right? It's a similar type thing.
It's assimilating the market now.
Now, how do you get through our generation of people who, first of all, growing up, like having a credit card was something that was different. It wasn't, when I was younger, it wasn't always MasterCard and Visa. It could have been just a Macy's card, for example,
Right.
where you can only use it at Macy's. It was literally a line of credit at that store. And slowly but surely, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, they took over the whole market. And now I can get a credit card at Macy's that'll have a Visa logo on it, and I don't have to just buy at Macy's. I can buy pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And I say Macy's like it's still around huge or something.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like it's a whole
Mervyn's.
different... Yeah, exactly.
Macy's is still around, still publicly traded.
Still publicly traded, but it ain't going to be around very much longer.
When's the last time you went to one?
Right?
I mean, I never went to one to begin with, so.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you? I'd imagine the people that you're working with now come from a whole different generation, but we still have people that are kind of old school, have been around the block for quite some time, and there's a relationship part of the business that says, you know what? I mean, I don't know what my fees are. I don't know what I'm paying per month, but I already got a guy. What do you bring to the table to help, get them to a point where they're like, you know what? You're right. I should be working with you.
Well, I mean, you said it right then and there. I got a guy, but I don't know what I'm paying. Yeah, it's your money. You should know. I mean, I know how much money's in my bank account. I know how much money I owe on my credit cards. I know, you know what I mean? I know my financial structure, It's funny you mentioned that. I talk to people all the time. I meet merchants all the time and give them, this would work better in your business. If I do that, I'm going to lose business. No, I mean, you'd have to lose a lot of business. There's ways. You need to think about what's best for your business and the bottom line for your business. They may have somebody they have a relationship with, and if they're happy with them, I mean, great.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough people out there that merchants out there that could use me. You're buying me. You're buying my services. You're buying what we bring to the table. So if they're happy, great. But if they don't know what they're paying, that tells me that their merchant processor, is just somebody that signed them up and is a salesperson, is no longer part of their business. If they're not keeping in contact with their merchant, and then to me, their merchant's vulnerable. When's the last time you saw your merchant? I don't know. Well, that one's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
It's true. And
Actually, that brings up a question for me. Can you tell us about how you maintain the relationships? Like, what do you do to stay top of mind, to stay in front of your customers? Because if you're having that same conversation with somebody who hasn't talked to their merchant in years or whatever it is, what are you doing to stay in front of them?
I still like personal phone calls.
oh, look at that.
I still like old school
Look at that.
personal phone calls. I still like writing a thank you card out. The profits, the people that make money in any business, everybody works from 9 to 12 and from 1 to 5. What are you doing between 6 and 9 and between 5 and 9? Those other hours. You take a moment and instead of, watching Game of Thrones or something, get on your merchant list and just write a handwritten letter. Thank you for your business. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do, give me a call.
It's something about having that personal touch, right?
It is.
And, we were talking before the podcast about, growing up in a different generation.
Yeah.
One of those weird things.
Hernan's much older than I am.
Just throwing it out there, right? So you can tell, losing the hair. So, but one of the things our generation was unique at, was different than our newer generations, our counterparts, our younger kids, I guess.
Sure.
I memorized my numbers when I was a kid. Like, I knew all my friends' phone numbers by heart.
I did too.
Right? And my mom and dad knew all my my friends' phone numbers at the same time. And it was important for us to pick up the phone and talk, right? I mean, we had to stretch the cord super far to take it to our room, right? But it was important for us to pick up the phone and have a conversation with people. I knew, and I still have friends to this day that don't have a social media, that if you don't pick up the phone and call them, they don't even know that the party exists because they don't have a Facebook. They don't have an Instagram. It's just a different generation. A lot of people are on it and a lot of people are jumping on board, and I think it's vitally important to have a social media presence. But having that personal touch, whether it's on social media or whether it's just doing the traditional things like handwriting a note or picking up the phone or shaking a hand or stopping by, those things are the things that enrich your business. And I think you're 100% correct. Those are the nurturing things that are going to not only grow your business, but maintain your business and open up the doorway to referrals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. So you've been...
Well, and if I can add to that, to second part of that, we're also starting to. I have a friend of mine that I'm joining, business forces with, and she does basically my social. It's gonna be not my social media, but my marketing, if you will. But she does it organically, and the way that she does it is brilliant, I think. And just doing it through like MailChimp and Constant Contacts and featuring other people's businesses. It goes back to, both her and I have the belief that you give to receive. So, I go to networking mixers all the time. I go to, San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club. If I go to any of those things, I may just take a picture of somebody that's doing something I think is really cool there, or people I meet, put that out in an email blast. Now I'm promoting their business through the people I know. And that will not only attract business, it will solidify relationships for you.
Yeah, they're grateful.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. But you're giving instead of being like, oh, buy my product.
Right. That's 100%. That's a big, pretty much any type of business successful person is going to tell you to do that. It's going to be give, mm-hmm. and give without the thought or the anticipation of receiving. Right. The reciprocation will come. The reciprocation will come over time as you build that relationship. But if you're out there promoting what other people are doing, they're going to be 100% grateful to you, and they're going to want to reciprocate by sending you business, either doing business with you themselves or by sending you somebody who they hear about. I was having a conversation today on my 130 podcast with this company. It's called Brand Face, and their big thing is creating a brand for an individual. And one of the things I told them was it's scary to me that agents will focus on just building a brand because their image of a brand is Coca-Cola or Pepsi, right? Or some, Ford, something like that. And they go and try to replicate major multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar corporations in what they're doing, when your brand should be very micro in nature, mm-hmm. right? Your brand should be how you communicate with your circle of influence. It should be how you communicate with your friends. It should be the images that you post to the people that you do business with so that they know what you do. And that's a small type of brand. And if your brand is customer service, if your brand is I promote you, if your brand is I help you succeed, then by all means, that's the kind of person I want to hang out with. And that's the kind of person that I want to do business with. Right. And I think that's what when you talk about writing hand notes, that's not an easy thing. That's work. You sit down and write a note to somebody. That's work. I mean, right behind you over there is a thank you card that we received, and it's a handwritten note. That's somebody's effort. And you notice that when somebody puts that effort forward, you definitely notice that, and you almost instantly feel like, damn, now I got to get them something. It's like Christmas. Yeah. Right? During Christmas?
I hope that you have that impression. Some people, I think that most people, 99% of people feel that way.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's like Christmas time. I was going to say, during Christmas, I almost don't want to receive a gift from colleagues, right? Because then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't buy you anything. I feel guilty if they give me a gift and I didn't have something prepared for them. But I know that I'm going to make it up to them somehow. I'm telling myself in my head, I'm going to make it up to them. I'm going to be extra special. I'm going to be extra nice. I'm bringing them something even cooler, even better. Mm-hmm. They have a special place in my heart now. And that's exactly what you need to be doing on a regular basis to enrich. That's what we call a powerful relationship. That's when you're enriching your relationships. That's when you're enriching those associations, those business people, by doing something simple as picking up the phone and writing hand notes or shaking people's hands. Just going and showing up.
Yeah, just going and showing up, even if, prospecting and meeting new merchants, going out and cold calling. I don't go and sell. I just go in and introduce myself. I don't even sell them. And because merchants love to say no, right? They love saying no. So I don't even give them the opportunity.
Why? You're just getting to know them.
Yeah, let's get to know each other. I don't know if I can help your business out. I don't know if I want to help your business out. I might not like you. You might not like me. Who knows? But if there is a mutual grounds of doing business and we can work together, then let's discover that. And that takes you as a individual and business willing to invest in that time and that person and that relationship.
Yeah, there's always something you need to look past. Sometimes it's within ourselves, that fear of getting out there and talking to people or whatever it is. Or sometimes, you got to have a conversation with a Raider fan, whatever it is, but you got to get past it. I had to throw it in there at some point.
The draft tomorrow.
I had to, yeah. Draft's tomorrow.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, time flies, huh? Yes, it's almost football season.
I know.
All right. Well, but no, in all essence, I mean, that's one of those things, right? The fact that you throw it out there, we might be, division rivals or something, but we have something in common. We like football.
Right.
And now we've made a connection, right? You can do that with almost anything else you do. This weekend, we're watching Endgame, right? Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
There's a ton
we had
of people.
a whole podcast on that yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people who go out there and they also enjoy that stuff. And guess what? They do things for a living that might be part of what you can do. But you've made a connection that's not even business related. It's just a connection. Or I don't know what else. You mentioned Game of Thrones. We actually do watch Game of Thrones.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who don't. So maybe that's not the connection for them. But there are a lot of people who do. Right? But it's a matter of getting out there and actually having that conversation. Too many people, I think, fall short of that, is having the conversation.
They do, and it's difficult because so many people, especially like in my field, and they get shot down a lot. Merchants, are tired of seeing. It's funny, merchants are tired of seeing the salesperson come and go, but they don't do anything on their end to solidify those relationships either. Mm-hmm. And I hear that a lot from merchants, like you said a few minutes ago. I haven't really seen my guy or whatever, blah 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 blah, but I'm happy with my rates. How do you know? Like, have you even looked at it? I mean, to me, my money is important. My relationships are important to me. I'm still friends with guys I went to elementary school with. So long-term relationships are very, very important to me. So I'd like to bring that into business fold as well.
What did I hear? I think it was a Zig Ziglar thing. He said, usually when a prospect says no, it's that they're not saying N-O. They're just saying they don't know, K-N-W-O. Mm-hmm. And you haven't given them enough value, enough information, enough insight so that no is the proper no. Once you've solidified what it is that they're not even aware of. I don't know is really what they're saying. Not no, just I don't know. And so your job as a salesperson, your job is to enlighten that individual, to educate them, to understand that, dude, this is how much you're losing. You might be happy with your rates, and that's only because you're resisting change. But would you change if I had $100 bill for you right here, right now? What if you had $100 bill for you every single month? What if it was 2 or 3 every single month? Would you be willing to change if it was cash in your hand? Of course you would. Right? But the thing is, you don't understand what's going on. And so because you don't understand, you're not willing to accept any type of change. I think the solar people have the same issue. I didn't understand how solar worked at all. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand. I knew the idea of net metering. I kind of had an idea, but anytime a solar person tried to sit down and explain it to me, it was convoluted stuff. And I'm a numbers person. Right. But I didn't understand it. And because I didn't understand it, I always said no. But my no has always been K-N-W-O.
Yep. I feel that way.
K-N-O-W. Can't even spell no.
K-N-O-W.
This is why.
Not a spelling contest.
This is why I teach math and not English.
You were just thinking of the wrestling show.
Yeah.
NWO.
NWO. But no. I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest things. You're in a very no-heavy environment.
Yep.
You're going to hear that all the time.
And it's funny you say that. So I do have a relationship with a processor, and we're the only processor that can process cannabis. That we can do dispensaries. And I talk to a lot of dispensaries, and they want to say no right away. And I'm like, and I'm like, just give me 15 minutes of your time. We're going to make your business more money. It's because they don't know that they can actually process money in the cannabis field now. Right. And there's a way to do it. So it takes, it's 100% legal, 100% legit, banks backed, all that good stuff, but they don't know how it works. It's important as a merchant or any business person to be invested in your business. You work hard. People that are entrepreneurs that own their own businesses work hard. You want to keep as much money and make as much money as possible. It's why you're in business.
Yep. What did we used to say, Ham? Your purpose in business is to be of service to others. Your business's purpose is to make a profit.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. And I'm glad that you said that about the cannabis industry, because we have markets for in the insurance thing too. I mean, covering cannabis industry that's a huge market. If you're into that market early on, and literally, pun intended, growing, right? That's going to be something that you can solidify yourself in the long term. But again, education. You need to teach them, and believe me, they are business people. They've been in business, hustling way before it was legal.
Yeah.
And they're going to be making a profit going forward. You just got to show them that there's extra profit to be made. There's a new way to solidify your business. There's a new way to increase your bottom line. And I have the solution for you.
And I love what you just said, extra profits to be made. And what that strikes in me is that it's okay as a merchant to make money. That's what you're in business for. You're not in business to, you're
not a charity.
Yeah, you're not a charity. You're in business to make money. That's okay to make money, and as much money as you can possibly make for your family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that on the real estate side and on the insurance side too. When it comes down to it, you are a salesman. Like, you are a salesperson. You have to accept that as part of your identity, and it's, what you do, the value that you bring. It doesn't come for free. You need to put money, you need to put food on your table too. So
just be of service to as many people at a high level.
That's it.
And the process and the profits will flow, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mark. We're rounding our time here, running the bend on time. How do people get a hold of you?
Easy, man. They can just give me a call, 619-518-8701, as well as text me. And you can find me on Instagram at SD Raider Mark. And I'm in the process right now with my partner. So she's got 2 different Instagrams being started for my business. So Pacific Bank Card will be one of them, and then Cannabis Merchant will be the other one. So
cool. Separate but equal.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. And then lastly, we would like you to tag somebody who you think would be a great guest on the show, somebody who you've either done business with, any merchants that are killing it out there, that have a story to tell, whatever pops in your head. Who do you think would be a great podcast guest?
I know one of my best friends. Actually, I got 2 for you. So the first one I got for you is one of my best friends, and he is a commercial real estate broker. His name is Dimitri Booker, and he would be awesome for you and for your guest, and as a guest, and for your listeners, as well as Miss Brittany Miller, and who's heading up my sales force right now. So
perfect. So we're gonna tag them,
and you can tag her at hashtag AKA the BAM.
The BAM. So we're gonna tag them. Put a little bit of pressure on, because we're gonna start filling up our May calendar.
Hashtag
very soon.
AKA the BAM.
Yes, sir.
All right, done.
Boom. So we got them. All right, Mark. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure. I love talking business with people who are in business. I love talking sales with people who are out there making sales, people who hear no on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They got the scars, the war wounds to talk about what's really happening out there and making a difference in people's lives. So thanks again for being on the show.
Yeah, why say no when it feels so good to say yes?
I love that. I love that. Why say no when it feels so good to say yes? All right, ladies and gentlemen, quick reminder, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. Gently used closed-toed shoes, 619-884-0045, or james@csfirst.com. Send him an email, give him a text, give him a phone call. He'll ride over and pick up those shoes as soon as possible. And if you do it before Friday, I'm going to invite you to come out to the Mission Valley Beer Fest with me and hang out for the day. Second, if you want to add insurance into your line of business, are you a tax professional? Are you a mortgage? Do you have a mortgage office, or you have a brokerage and you think insurance is a nice new line of business that you can earn profit from? Give James a call, james@csfirst.com. You want to be on the program, Hernan@csfirst.com. You want to give me a call? I'd love to pick up the phone and chat with you. Maybe 5, 10, 15-minute conversation just to see if you have an idea or you have something pop up in your head. 619-884-4915. And if you're EXP curious, if you've been wondering what EXP is about because you heard about it, somebody told you about it, you really want to know a little bit more, text 123-EXP to 31996. I'll send you a 7-minute video so you can learn about it, and nobody has to know. All right, guys, make sure you follow us on our Instagram, on our Twitter, on our Facebook, @Business Bros Pod. Mark, thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And I'm out. Thanks, Facebook.
We love you, Facebook.
Bye, guys. Bye, Mom. Love you. Mom always watches.